Tara Adun, great Protoss. I am Executor Rigel, and I bring you news of a most grievous nature. High Templar Trogar of the Golden Armada has engaged mortal combat with the Terran infestation from the TVP clan aboard the habitation station LE. Unfortunately, my own carrier is too far away to provide any support rather than just observation to the coming conflict. I am attempting to transmit information that may aid Trogar in the coming conflict. However, I'm afraid the distance is so vast that I am unable to open my comlink channels to him. Hopefully, this will serve as an instructional guide in coming days should Trogar prove to be triumphant over the Terran, or at least it may be of some solace to his significant other, who remains behind on Ire. We can see that Trogar has wisely chosen to open his main base over here in the top right corner. And as luck would have it, the Terran are far flung on the other side of Habitation Station, mirroring down the center. Fortunately for Trogar, he is close to a high-yield mineral field, which may prove to be rather advantageous in the coming battle. Trogar is choosing to take a rather defensive posture by placing his gateway as pylon so very close to his own nexus, leading me to believe that he is a rather cautious individual. Unfortunately for him, the Terran infestation is choosing to build his own command center very close to his own. He will undoubtedly choose to lift off his command center and use the natural expansion very close to his main. This will lead to a heavy economic advantage earlier on in the game. Hopefully our Protoss brother will become aware of his plight and prove to be a rather aggressive individual. We can see the Cybernetics Core also coming down, no doubt planning to use the early gas which he is mining from his own assimilator. Could this be signs of early aggression, as Trogar is not beginning to accumulate a vast amount of wealth? He is not appearing to be looking like he wants to throw down a nexus anytime soon. This sign of aggression is a good thing, as he will be able to punish the hubris of the Terran army, choosing to throw down a command center even before he builds the most minor of defensive attributes for his own base. A second barracks coming down, no doubt choosing to spin down the vast mineral wealth that the Terran is using. These poor fools are not aware of the vast power that the Vespene Geyser can afford a Terran army. Marauders can be incredibly deadly to the forthcoming push that Trogar is beginning to form. We can see a Stalker as well as a Zealot is moving out, and fortunately for this SCV, it is beating a hasty retreat before the might of the Protoss army. With two different gas geysers, Trogar will have a vast amount of Vespene gas, which will allow him to be very aggressive as well as teching very quickly into the vast technological array that is afforded to him by his Protoss army. Oh, this Zealot will have to beat a hasty retreat as the Terran infestation, like a cockroach, is choosing to be rather defensive with his bunker up on a high ground. And there we can see the orbital command at the 5-minute mark moving down to take advantage of the mineral fields down in the natural expansion. At the same time Trogar is taking his own expansion. It is fortunate for him that the Terran has been proven to be rather foolhardy, and even though they built that command center so incredibly quickly, has really faltered in actually taking advantage of that. Speaking of taking advantage, Trogar is taking advantage of the fact that the Protosses are vastly technologically superior to the Terran army, and is beginning to get a Twilight Council and is working on the blink technology, making his stalkers incredibly potent not only for harassment units but also in long combat, allowing them to blink away from danger, and utilizing their ability to regenerate their shields will be incredibly more cost effective, with 3 gateways being built, and we can see a probe actually accompanying the mothership core and stalker This is actually looking to be a rather aggressive push, but oh no! The 5 Marines from the TVP clan are pushing forward, and this will prove to be too much force for Trollgear to actually deal with here. Oh no! The Stalker is not engaging directly with the Zealot. If they all fought together, it could have been different. However, the Probe and the Zealot go down, and the Stalker is caught, between the 5 small, puny Marines. They prove to be too much for the mighty Stalker, and the Mothership Corps must retreat. Blink Tech is only 60 seconds away from finishing. However, with 5 Stalkers on the high ground, 4 Stalkers and 1 Zealot, this will be too much firepower that those Marines will have to retreat. But the fools, unaware of how much trouble they were actually in, all get cut down thanks to the Mothership Corps throwing down her time warp. Trollgear is in a bit of trouble, though. He does not have a forward-facing pylon. He will not be able to reinforce his Stalkers. He will not be able to reinforce his units, and he will not be able to be as aggressive as he wants to. As Blink Tech finishes with only 4 Stalkers afield, I'm afraid Trollgear has missed his timing window and will not be able to be as aggressive as he wants to. How will he react? A good decision would be to use his Mothership Corps to scout over here and allow his Blink Stalkers to blink up and bypass that bunker, as a straightforward engagement would prove to be foolhardy. However, Trollgear, stubborn as he always is proving to poke at this straight bunker, and TVP will just sit behind their cowardly walls and begin to work on their own tech path. Stim as well as +1/+1, weapons as well as armor, the Marines becoming a fearsome opponent against the paltry Protoss force. But what's this? Fresh reinforcements from the rear, a Stalker as well as a Sentry. Will the Sentry throw down a force field next to the bunker to prevent repair? No, it proves to be unnecessary, as only 2 SCVs arrive far too late to the bunker to actually prove useful in the coming battle. We see a robotics facility and a starport coming down. Both individual sides of the battle are beginning to work on 2 radically different sides of tech. No doubt the robotics facility will produce a mighty colossus that will smite down these Marines. But here comes a forward push. The time warp going down around the bunker, proving very useful to Trollgear. However, the force field's really not helping with the engagement, and ultimately Trollgear is thwarted, and he must retreat. This is a mighty blow against the Protoss, as he invested so much in getting that Blink Tech up, and ultimately it proved to be ineffective. The Marauder and Marine count is beginning to form a large swarm that, even in small numbers, could easily be dealt with. However, in such a mighty horde, the Terran infantry might prove to be quite a problem with Trollgear's now stunted landmass. However, Trollgear, proving to be rather cost-efficient, is getting his own nexus over at the 3rd location, and it would appear to be a very wise decision, as TVP is not making motions like he wants to actually move out. And I have to admit that this might be a smart decision from TVP, as he has utilized his stim far too often, and his Marines are beginning to pay the price for such a costly biochemical weapon. Medevacs moving in from the north side will be able to repair their frail bodies and hopefully allow them to further their Terran cause. However, with a mighty Colossus being built and the extended thermal lances on the way, the destructive properties of the Colossus should prove more than a match for this Terran swarm moving out, especially thanks to the brave Stalker that was manning the Xel'Naga Watchtower, and so Trollgear is aware of this mighty push coming from the TVP forces. Will he choose to swing south into the 3rd, which is right now unknown to the Terran forces? As we can see, he is unaware of the clever tactics from Trollgear. The Colossus is still nowhere to be seen. But what's this? Moving in from the north side. Its lumbering presence spells the doom for all of these pathetic Marines. The scan goes down. TVP's fate is sealed. Where are the force fields? He needs to trap them into more manageable pieces. The destructive property of the Colossus almost goes down to the firepower of all those Terrans. But what is this? Treachery! TVP, bringing in from the east side of the main base from Trollgear, has struck down the mighty infrastructure of Trollgear. The robotics facility is sundered. Unfortunately for TVP, his forces will not remain unscathed as they beat a hasty retreat, leaving behind their broken brethren. Oh, but that is a mighty blow to Trollgare. Without his robotics facility, he will not be able to utilize the extended thermal lance, besides his single Colossus. 2 robotics facilities are being built right now. However, with the 3rd base now being constructed and flown over to the orbital command, over into the high-yield mineral fields, TPAM will quickly spiral out of control, and Trollgare, even though he has a 3rd base, his economy is rather stunted, with 58 harvesters over 56. Remember, the Terran utilized the mules, which I have a very difficult time finding right now due to the skill of TPAM. But these mules are incredibly potent, with their ability to harvest large amounts of minerals and quickly resupply the Terran war machine. Oh, we can see that the large horde of Terran infantry is once again moving in from the east of the 3rd base, and now with a scan well placed by TPAM, he is aware of the nexus at the 3rd location. Will Trollgare be able to hold them back? Oh, he is not building any Colossus, despite both of his robotics facilities being done, as well as the extended thermal lance. He has also managed to complete a Templar archive, but with Storm too far away, he needs some form of destructive presence to actually deal with this heavy Marauder mix moving in from TPAM. Oh, I feel like this fight is coming to a head very, very soon. Trollgare will have to rely on... No! The Stalker's moving forward far too fast. Oh, and the blink poorly timed, leaving the Stalker far too exposed. The force fields coming down from our brave Sentry brethren. However, they prove to be no match to the Marauder and Marine mix with their heavy, heavy upgrade advantage. The Stalkers blinking away to safety. Once again, a treacherous drop from the main base into Trollgare's infrastructure. The robotics facilities just now starting to build Colossus, but it looks like the 3rd will fall. And with that goes my hope that Trollgare, our brother, will be victorious. It would appear that today Terran has prevailed. However, Trollgare, our mighty and brave brother, will not go down without a fight, but it appears that Trollgare's infantry is just too strong, and even with the 2 Colossus coming out, Trollgare throws out the honor-bound symbol and commits, I would only assume, suicide over this incredibly disgraceful display.